Hey y'all, hey, we're back for another review of Sisters. We're on season 10, episode 5, entitled Misery Loves Company. So we are picking back up with Danny and Lucretia having that conversation after Tony invited her over. And Lucretia flat out asked Danny, like, girl, were you sexually assaulted? Like, were you sexually assaulted? You know, whatever you can say on YouTube, right? And Lucretia knows that when she tells Danny, like, girl, you are so hesitant and you are so up in arms about just the simple question to ask, that alludes to the fact that something really did take place, and it's okay to tell me, it's okay to let me know what's happening. But since you don't, you're not comfortable telling me, I do want you to know, I want you to be honest with yourself. Like, lie to me, be real with yourself, girl, and sit with what has happened. And she also gives her a very good reminder that I thought was very good. And she reminded her that no one deserves to be hit, or no one deserves to be forced to do anything that it doesn't want to do. Because, I think she thinks that was important, because Danny feels as if Tony really shouldn't be caring as much about her well-being, because he had just expressed that he, in so many words, did not care about her because of her indiscretion against him. And what I think I said in the last review is that we are conflating the two instances. I think that Tony is simply being a good human. What I also think, what I'm going to say here, which I probably had in my notes for later, what I'm going to say here's what I do hope is that Tony and Danny do not get back together out of the situation. So when the information does come out, so once she does tell somebody, or once it does come to fruition what happened, that they don't reconnect, because that's going to be a traumatic bond. I think that he could still be of assistance to her without them being a romantic thing. That's just my theory. Let me know what y'all think. All right, so we see Cheyenne, and she's on IG Live channel. She's just really big capping and doing a lot, stunting for the gram, and telling people that Andy, she's in her own penthouse, and you see the backdrop, and it's Andy's penthouse, and Andy gets right in the live, and she's like, no ma'am, girl, what you doing on the live? And Cheyenne cuts it off really quick, and she's like, girl, go ahead and take that down. Go ahead and take that down. I don't want my private residence all over the internet. Like, this ain't no reality show. I'm not here for it. That's not what we doing. This is a private residence. This is a private community. We not with all that. So go ahead and take that down, my girl. So Cheyenne's like, okay, like thinking that Andy's like a killjoy, but no, girl, some people really don't be wanting all this stuff out on the internet like that. So take it down. And then Andy's like, okay, while we here, where do you plan on working while you're here? Like, I know you all on Instagram and all the other stuff, but girl, how are you going to support yourself? I can't claim you on no taxes. You're not a true dependent, so I'm not going to be able to financially support you. So what you going to do while you're here? And she tells Andy, she don't really have a clue, but she tells Andy that she was a stylist and that she has clientele. So we're going to presume that she's some sort of stylist, and that's going to be her job. Even though she did tell Andy, like, oh, I'm going to start job hunting tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Doubt that she is going to do it truly. All right, so Tony finally comes back, and Danny is fast asleep on the couch, and he's looking at Lucretia, and she's like, she's good. She's like, yeah, she's still on edge about it. Whatever it is, it really does have her worked up. So I gave her a sedative to help her rest. I don't know if that's TV magic, or I don't know if your therapist can do house calls and write prescriptions. I don't know if that's really true, but we're going to go with it. And she does thank Tony for calling her over, and Tony's like, okay, cool. Like, did she tell you what happened? She was like, Tony, come on now. You know that's outside of my oath. I can't tell you what that lady told me. Patient confidentiality. And she's like, but what I can tell you is that she does feel horribly guilty for what she did to you. So that is going to be a lot of the overtone, and why we could presume why she's constantly beating herself up about how this thing worked out. Like, okay, like Tony would never put his hands on me. Tony was decent. Yeah, we had our qualms, but then the second I go over here and make this dumb decision, I end up in this dire, almost life and death situation. So it's almost like, girl, that's what I deserve. I ain't had no business over here to start with. So that's where Danny's coming from, and hopefully everybody's going to do a good job of circumventing those thoughts and reiterating and letting her know, like, girl, don't nobody deserve that. Don't really matter what you did. I don't care what nobody's talking about. She cheated on the man. Okay, cool. That's a whole nother situation that we got to deal with. That don't mean she deserved what came next. Okay? All right. So we see Maurice, and he shows up at the shop, and Pam has already taken it upon herself to start doing renovations. And in doing her reservation, she has already burst the pipe, and water is everywhere, child. They are wading in the water, and it is really aggravating me because, girl, I don't even know how Maurice, I know how they got here, but Mr. Perry, you got to figure out another way to just, because Pam does not give business acumen. She don't have that thing, which is why she's making these renovations a day before. Let's just say this is a weekend day and the shop opens on Monday. She want to put in the shampoo bowl and surprise everybody, her partners, with the shampoo bowl before they open back and start servicing customers. Don't know what the blueprints are. Don't know what the valves are to cut off water. Like, none of the logistical stuff that needs to take place. She just a dodo bird in the wind, child. She is just really costing everybody more time, more money, more effort because she's not consulting her partners. So I'm sure that's going to be a thing at some point, because you just can't run a business effectively, especially when you have partners just going off doing your own thing. Because, girl, if you didn't have the money to buy the business, all right, and Maurice didn't and Danny didn't, that means y'all are funded this 3 ways. Now you created a bill for your 2 other partners because you don't know what the hell you got going on. All right. And Maurice says just as much. He tells her, like, girl, you shouldn't have made that kind of decision without consulting your co-owners. And we all know that this is going to be a mess, and now we got to figure this out. All right. So, Mama done tiptoed out the penthouse real smooth, like first thing smoking, and she goes to meet up with Mr. Keys. And he's asking her, like, how Andy is doing after everything with the car bombing and everything that went on the day before. And she tells him that I don't mention it, I don't bring it up unless Andy does. So that's how she's doing. Like, she's doing as good as could be under the situation, but I'm not trying to get more into how she's feeling about it. And but she was like, I know that we've had our own. Basically, she's telling Mr. Keys that we both have had to navigate our share of threats, but nothing like an explosion. So I was confused because I'm like, did she recently run into Mr. Keys in Atlanta and they met and they started this little elder Christian mingle hookup situation where they just enjoy each other's company? Or do they know each other from like way back in the Gap and they like re-meeting, reacquainting themselves? Like, say they kind of was flirty back in like the 50s and the 60s. Everybody went on and lived their life. Husband's gone, wife gone, everybody gone. And they done reconvened here at this 2025 time frame. And they're like rebuilding what may have been like a flirt years ago. I'm not really sure. Looking forward to see how that happens, because she seemed very familiar, like with historical things. Like she said, we have had to navigate our own share of threats. So I'm like, who was threatening y'all? Like, was y'all not supposed to be together? Was y'all giving Romeo and Juliet? Girl, what really happened? Or were y'all like, I don't know why I immediately thought like civil rights movement, bus boycotts. Like, I don't know why my mind went there, but I'm gonna just put it documented here in the video just in case that comes up later. Maybe I'm right. We'll see. Either way, she tells Mr. Keys like she hates to leave, but she headed home tomorrow. She's just there to say her little goodbyes or whatever. And he's like, dang, like we just really started getting to know each other, which conflicts all of my theories, but I don't know what to think. And then she tells him like, there's something I did not tell you, in our previous little meetups or whatever, is that I have stage 2 breast cancer. The prognosis is good, but I do have to go back home to Florida for my chemo treatment. And Mr. Keys does something very nice, very sweet, honorable if you want to call it that. And he offers to go back with her while she goes through her chemo. And she's like, like, I don't want you to see me while I'm ugly and losing my hair and going through chemo. Like, that's not what it's given. And he's like, listen, first of all, girl, you could never be ugly, even with no hair on your face, on your body at all. Like, you still that girl. So that was really nice, really sweet. She's like, no, my sister will be there with me. She's going to take more than good care of me. Thank you for offering, but, thanks but no thanks. The gesture is nice, but I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for the offer. Okay. Danny finally wakes up from her sedative, and she tells Tony, like, okay, you know, which I guess that said it really knocked me out. I didn't know she left. I didn't know you returned. Thank you, but you can go. But he's like, no, ma'am. I'm really worried about you because every time I touch you, you either jump or you shrink away from me. What's up? Again, we back to the rapid fire. We're like, tell me what happened, tell me what happened, tell me what happened. And she ain't with it. She reminds him like, hey, you treated me like trash the night before at the hospital, so you shouldn't care, right? And he was like, listen, I know what I said the night before. I was mad, but I'm worried about you. That's just the long and the short, girl. I'm worried about you. I never seen like this. Lucretia didn't tell me anything that you told her, so I don't know if she really told Lucretia like everything that went on. It kind of cut and it never gave us any inclination, but all right. And then she sees that he has gone out to buy her new bedding, which I see both sides. One person could see it like as a kind gesture, like, you know, the apartment was torn up and maybe you want to get some rest, and that old bedding might have some bad memories or whatever. Maybe it was torn up from the assault. We don't know. All we know is he went out and bought her some new bedding, but she thinks that it's to get rid of the sheets that he caught her with. He caught her with the officer with, like, oh, let me get rid of these sheets because these are sheets he was with old boy in. And I don't think that that's where Tony was coming from. I don't think that that was his purview because he already don't live there anymore, so that's really not his cross to bear. I didn't get that from the gesture, but everything in her mind is kind of operating from a trauma mindset right now, from a post-traumatic mindset. So, of course, she's probably going to find the negative in everything that happens after this point for the time being. We can't blame her. But he does reiterate to her, like, I don't really hate you. I don't hate you. So we jump over to Maurice, and he finally goes to see Sabrina after Pam reminds him, I think a couple episodes ago, like, hey, you should go visit her because we don't want things to turn bad, you know, and she not make it out of the hospital and you have those regrets. And so I'm assuming he took that to heart. And, you know, he's sitting there. He's just kind of, emotions are up and down there all over the place. He's really sad. He's really sad about the state that his friend is in. And he reminds her, like, you know, not that long ago, you were aiding me when I was on my sick bed in the hospital. And girl, we gotta stop. We gotta stop meeting in these type of hospital situations. And he tries to act normal, quote unquote. Like he's like, girl, I gotta catch up on what's been going on. Like Pam did demo and she done hit the water, and this is going, like, basically bringing her up to speed on his life, kind of almost like autopilot, like as if they were just sitting in her office at the bank having a good kiki. And then he kind of has this realization, like, girl, I'm just rambling because I really don't know what to say. But what was most important about this scene is he tells her, like, hey, I need to hear your voice. Just listen to your voicemail. It's not sufficient. It's not enough. I need you to go on to get better, because he reminds her that she is the light of the group and they need her light. And that was very special. And some people say, I don't know. Some people say that, you know, people in a coma, they're still cognizant and that they can hear. And I think that if that is true, that's nice for her to have heard, because Sabrina does bring this light to the group that people, you know, they kind of laugh at it because she's always a glass half full type of purview, and you kind of need that, because if you like me and Danny, it's like, girl, everybody here to get something from it, do something to me, what you want, what's your motive, what's your goal, all right, whatever. So she is the light. I'll give him that. She is the lighthearted aspect, the hopeful part of the group. So we look forward to getting that back. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Do y'all think Sabrina is going to pull through? And I ask because a lot of the doctors are saying, like, hey, yeah, Danny is on there, but she's simply a point of contact. She's not somebody that can make medical decisions. So they still have to find her immediate family, because they need people to make decisions. Danny is not in a position to make decisions. She's just basically just a phone contact that can be given updates. She can't make medical decisions. She's not a medical power of attorney. So then there's that. I don't know. I don't know if Sabrina's gonna make it. I hope she does. But if she does, I don't know how they're going to integrate her into the show. If she's gonna be like, it's not funny, but is she gonna be like Wizard Kelly, where we kind of hear her but don't see her because she's gone from the show, or is she just gone from this season? She's gonna be back and she's gonna make it. I don't know, y'all. I'm not in the writer's room, but you can put me in if you need me to be. Yeah. All right, lastly, we see Tony reach out to Zach to have Fatima and Andy come over to be with her because she's very resistant to him being there. Okay, rightly so, but he also doesn't feel comfortable leaving her like that. Also rightly so. So he invites them in so that he can give them space to talk to her. Maybe they can kind of get through to her and get some information. So he leaves, and Andy flat out asks Danny, like, girl, we see your neck. What's up? And first of all, Fatima was going in person, like, was it Tony? Like, what's up? And she was like, nah, it wasn't Tony. Tony would never do that to me. It's not him. So Andy flat out asked her, like, girl, who was it? And she tries to divert them away from the officer by saying, oh, it was just a random man I met last night and blah, 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 blah. And Andy flat out asked her, like, girl, were you already? And she, again, she's not coming about that information. But you can kind of see where she's kind of replaying the night in her head. But the part that does kind of echo to her when he's saying, like, you about to call the police? I am the police. So we know that there is going to be an added layer of trauma or trying to overcome or trying to get justice because he is a police officer. Wow, he's a black police officer. That's already a conundrum in itself. But that what is it? The blue lives, the blue, whatever the blue people is. What you call them? The blue badge of honor. Whatever the blue boys be doing amongst each other. You know, they look out for each other. Sometimes against skin color. You know, they're gonna look out for their people. Could be a good thing, but it's going to be a bad thing in this case when it comes to getting justice. But we do end the scene with Andy saying that we about to call the cops. And I'm pretty sure that next week, Danny's going to tell her, girl, don't call no cops. Like, I'm good. She's going to try to talk her out of it, but we'll see what happens. Either way, that has been season 10, episode 5. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. We'll talk about it there. In the meantime, like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.